Hey guys, and welcome to another one of my flight attendant videos. Today I'm going to be talking about my roster, my schedule. So roster and schedule is basically the same thing. As you guys know, I am an international flight attendant. My schedule is usually very exciting. I have a lot of international trips, like transatlantic trips or trips to Asia. And I get a lot of questions about my schedule, about my roster, how I get those trips, how I bid on my schedule. And I just felt like it would be fun to explain to you guys how I actually bid on my schedule. And the most exciting part is today I'm actually gonna get my schedule that I bid on for December. So I'm gonna do a live reaction for you guys. I just checked the system. I have my laptop right here. My December roster has not been posted yet, so I'm still waiting. And yeah, like I said, it's not been posted yet, and once it is posted today, I'm gonna do a live reaction. I hope it's gonna be by the end of this video. If not, I'll have to like sit down again and film that after lunch. But anyways, so let's just explain to you right now how requesting or bidding on trips works. So for me, I have a line. I can hold a line. I'm not on like straight reserve or anything. I know a lot of flight attendants, especially new hires, are on straight reserve for a while. It was never like that for me, so I was holding a line from the start. And I do have to do standby or reserve a couple of times a year, and I can bid on those reserve and standby lines, but we have December right now, and I usually try to get them in until like July or August. So if I get all of my standby lines done by then, I don't have to deal with it during the Christmas and holiday season, you know? That just makes more sense to me, because if you don't have your points, we have a point system. So let's say for a standby line that has 6 active standby days, I get 60 points. And if I need like 200 points, I'll have to do a couple of those lines. You do the math. So I was done with all of my standby duty or reserve duty in August this year, so I don't have to worry about it for Christmas. So cruise scheduling is probably not gonna mess my December schedule up with like a standby reserve line, because I was an overachiever and I have more points than I need. So I'm pretty high up in the ranks in terms of standby duties, so I don't have to do any more for this year. That's just the way it is. So let me just explain our bidding system for you guys. We basically have 3 tiers. So we have a main request, we have an additional request 1, so it's add 1 basically what we call it, and add 2 would be our additional request number 2. So I have 3 requests, 3 bids that I can actually have in our system. So I can basically choose 3 trips that I like, and I can put them into the system, and then I'll see whether I get them or whether I won't get them. So our system is pretty good. It will show me whether I'm able to hold a trip or not. So if it's green, it means, so let's say I bid on a Miami trip and it's green in there, it means that my seniority is high enough at this time. If someone else with a higher seniority bids on the same trip later on, I might get kicked out. But basically, if it's green, it means that I can hold that trip. If a trip in my requesting system looks orange, then that means that I can hold that trip, but I'm kicking someone else off the trip. And if it's red, it means my seniority is not high enough and I won't be getting that trip. So those are the 3 requests that I have, the 3 bids. There's one more thing though. I have an off day request. So the off day request means those are 4 consecutive days off that I have to have every month when I don't have scheduled vacation time or anything, and those 4 days off are pretty high up. It basically means they can't have me fly anything on those days, so they can't readjust my schedule to have me work on those days. Those are just my days off. And for those days off, I actually bid for New Year's off. I could have had Christmas off if I wanted to, but I was kind of like risky. And I have a friend, and she and we said we wanted to do something for New Year's, so I wanted New Year's off, and I kind of like gambled on it that I'd still have Christmas Eve off. So in case you don't know, I've been flying for about 3 years right now, so my seniority is not that high, but it's not that bad. There are a little over 4,000 flight attendants at our Munich base for my airline, and there are about 1,000 of them with a lower seniority than me, so it's not that bad. And I'll explain to you how I can actually hold those trips, because I feel like a lot of airlines don't have the same system that we have, and because of the system I'm actually able to get awesome trips even though my seniority is not that high. So how it works is There's this thing that's seniority. So the longer you've been with the airline, the higher your seniority, the better the trips you can hold. So if someone who's been flying for 10 years requests a trip and I request that same trip and there's only one position open on that trip, it'll mean that this person can kick me off that request because they've been flying for 10 years and I've only been flying for 3 years. But we have another thing, and that's called fairness. I'm not sure if any other airline does this. My airline does it and it's awesome. It's really awesome, at least for us sort of like new hires. So fairness is basically even more important than seniority. So what it means is that if someone has been to a destination in the past 6 months and they had like a layover there, so like let's say a San Francisco with 48 hours of layover, so like a day off there, let's call it that. They had a day off at a destination. And they went to San Francisco, let's say 2 months ago. And their seniority is higher than mine, so they've been with the company for like 10 years and I've only been with my airline for 3 years. And I haven't been there in the past 6 months. Then I'm gonna get that trip because fairness counts even more than seniority for my airline. Fairness means that if someone has been to a destination within the past 6 months, someone else who hasn't been there in the past 6 months, they're gonna get that trip even though their seniority is lower. And that's how I get my awesome trips, to be honest. So if let's say I went to San Francisco 5 months ago and my colleague with a higher seniority went to San Francisco 2 months ago, I'm gonna get that trip. And that's the best thing. And then another thing is, so everyone has their main request. So the way the system works is that the system, like the bidding or requesting system, it works through our main requests first. So that means that even the person with the lowest seniority that has been with the airline for like, let's say 6 months, will get their main request before the person with the highest seniority who's been with the airline for, let's say 30 years. Those are just numbers I'm just making up right now. So the one with the highest seniority has been with the airline for 30 years and the one with the lowest seniority is still gonna get their main request before the person with the highest seniority gets their first additional request. Because of that, I feel like it's very fair, especially for new flight attendants, because they'll get good stuff too. So they'll get one of the good trips before one of the colleagues that have been with the airline for longer. They're called senior mamas, I've heard. So before one of the senior mamas actually gets her first additional request, everyone else gets their main request. And that's why I get those trips as well. And that's how I can do a lot of international trips, why I don't really fly a lot of short haul anymore, why I'm usually going to the US or Asia or Mexico or Canada or something like that, and it works well for me. And because I'm flying with the A380, so I am licensed to work on our A380s, and not everyone is licensed, but I applied for it and I got it. Whoop, whoop. That was weird. I know, I'm weird sometimes. But yeah, because I'm licensed for that and not everyone is, I'm actually expected to fly a lot more long haul, and that's another reason, because not everyone can request 380 trips. And if you go aggressive for 380 trips, you're usually gonna get them with my airline. So let me just check. I have all my notes in here. I really like this design. Isn't it like really cute? So a lot of you have told me that you want me to speak more German, so I'm just gonna read that to you and then explain what it means in English. So it says, feier die kleinen Dinge, denn sie machen das Leben lebenswert. So that means celebrate the little things in life because they make life livable. Livable because they make life great, basically. So let me see. Okay, so I've covered main requests, additional 1, additional 2, off days, and reserved lines. Okay. The next thing is we have 2 request cycles. So the first cycle opens up at the beginning of the month, and I can just put my requests in, and then the system will close, and when it opens again 3 days later, it will show me which requests are possible and which ones I didn't get at all. So there are 2 reasons why the system can kick trips out of my schedule. Reason number 1 is that someone with a higher seniority or with a higher fairness level has requested the same trip, and that's why I didn't get the trip. Reason number 2 is because it doesn't fit into the group roster, and the group roster is basically they need me to work another trip because they need someone else to work this trip at that time. So it's logistics basically. And it'll show me all of the trips that are in there. They'll turn blue, which means that they're basically safe. I can't get rid of them anymore, but they can still get rid of them if they don't fit into my schedule in the end. So it's, yeah, it's like that. But usually if it's blue, it means that it'll stay in there. And then I can do like a definite, I call them definite requests or a criteria request. So a definite request is if I just bid on that one trip. If I bid on, like, let's say Miami on the 3rd of December, let's say that would be a definite request. But I can also put in there that I want to go to Miami and it doesn't matter when I go there. And a lot of the times I'll bid on a definite trip because I want to have certain days off at home, like weekends off or something. And sometimes if I'm really keen on a destination like Singapore, which is really, really hard to get, I'll just put in Singapore and it doesn't really matter when I want to go. Or I can say I want to go to Singapore, but I want to leave on a Monday or something like that. And I usually don't do criteria requests. A lot of people do, but for me it has worked out better this way because then I know where I'm going at which time and when I'm going to be home. So sometimes I don't really mind where I'm going. I just kind of want to be home certain days, and that's how I bid on my trips. And yeah, that were the basics. You're probably really confused if you have never heard of rosters for flight attendants and bidding systems before. I'm sorry, I'm really hoping that I'm kind of like explaining everything in a certain way that you'll understand what I mean. So even if there are things that don't make sense, I hope you're getting the gist of it. So now let me tell you what I requested. The way I request my trips, I'd say, is I'm an optimistic realist. So I don't bid on trips that I can't hold. I don't bid on like a Cape Town trip because I know I'm not gonna get that trip. I bid on a trip that I'm pretty certain that I'll get, but like I said, I can still kick it out of my roster because of our group roster, because they need someone else to work that trip because of logistics. And yeah. So usually I go for trips that I can hold, and sometimes it doesn't work out, but I'd say at least my main request and my first additional I usually get. Last month I didn't get my main, I only got my first additional, but yeah, you never know, right? But usually it kind of works out pretty well for me. I'm lucky that way. So what I bid for December, so December is crazy because everyone wants Christmas off, everyone wants New Year's off, everyone wants weekends off because of the Christmas markets, Christmas shopping, all of that. And it's the hardest month to bid on your roster, in my opinion and in my experience. So honestly, I bid my schedule very optimistically this time because I only have those 3 requests. So what I usually do is I bid on trips with a lot of hours so that I don't have to do as many trips in that month. And I bid on long trips. So I'll bid on like international trips that get me 25 to 29 flying hours. It's a lot of hours, I know. And a lot of days off afterwards usually, which is good. So for December, usually I do like 4 trips a month, sometimes 5, but for December it sort of fit into my schedule that I only do 3 trips. So like I said before, my off days I requested for New Year's. I was gambling that I'd have Christmas Eve off. So we celebrate Christmas on Christmas Eve here in Austria, so I don't really care about Christmas Day too much. So I thought, okay, how about I'll fly Christmas Day and the days after that, and I bid on like Christmas Eve off. So I don't know if that actually worked because that was like my additional 2 requests, which had like the lowest priority. So for the main request, I bid on Hong Kong, and not just any Hong Kong trip, but a long Hong Kong, because December is the last month where we're gonna fly to Hong Kong with our A380s. In January, it'll go on, I think, the 350. I can still fly it then, but then a lot more people can go there, and it'll be a lot harder for me to get there. And also I saw a trip with a 72-hour layover, so I bid on that. So let's see if I got that one, but that was my main, so I think I'm gonna be able to hold that one. And then I bid on San Francisco. Initially, in our first requesting cycle, I bid on 2 Miamis and 1 Hong Kong, but one of my Miamis was out of my schedule immediately, basically because of the group roster thing that I explained. So instead I bid on a San Francisco because it has even more hours, and my airline, they'll tell me how many hours I can actually bid on. So I have to fly 70 at least, but usually they tell me I should fly like 75 or 80, something like that. And for this month it said I should bid on 76 hours, and I ended up bidding on almost 81 hours. And yeah, it's like we have this corridor, and as long as you stay within that, it'll be fine. But I can't just say I'm flying 100 hours. That wouldn't even be legal with my contract. And here in Europe, I think 100 hours a month is max. But with my contract, I cannot go over 87 flying hours a month. And right now I'd be at 81, which is pretty good because it will give me a lot of like overtime pay, and like only 3 trips would mean it's amazing. I don't have to go to the airport that often. I only have to go there 3 times. I'll save on gas and time. That would be amazing. Like, I like high time flying. I mean, it's technically it's not really high time flying, but high time trips, I guess, because you spend a lot of time in the air, you get a lot of flying hours, and you don't have to go there that often. So if they really give me that schedule, because they also tell me how many days a month I should be working, and let me just tell you, I think they wanted me to work 2 more days, and I didn't bid on that because it didn't work for me. So I just bid on less days but more hours. So that's why I don't know if they're really gonna give me that schedule. If they do, I'm gonna be psyched, like really psyched. Like I said, my Miami was already out of my roster in the first place, so it's not the thing that I really wanted, but it's still kind of similar. Like, I'd be working 1 more day now than if I had gotten the Miami trip, and yeah, we'll see. So I bid on San Francisco, Hong Kong, and Miami. So San Francisco, okay, let's start with the main request. The main request was Hong Kong with a 72-hour layover. The first additional request was San Francisco with a 48-hour layover. And the second additional request was Miami with a 24-hour layover. I'm making really weird stuff with my hands. I always like have to do something with my hands. I don't know why. I'm just that way. But yeah, the second additional request would be Miami with a 24-hour layover and Christmas Eve off and New Year's off. So let's see if they have posted the schedule yet. I kind of think that they probably haven't. It usually comes in sometime in the afternoon. It's lunchtime right now. Wait, what time is it? It's 1 p.m. Let's just update this here. So we get our roster on the 27th of each month, and it's the roster for the whole next month. So I'm bidding on my December schedule in November, basically. So today's the 27th. Sorry, I just ran out of battery. I had to change the battery. And I'm just checking the system. So let's see if it's here. I'm excited, nervous. It's the same thing every month. Every flight attendant will probably be able to relate. Like, getting your roster, it's like, oh my gosh, did I get my bids? Did I get my requests? Did I get my days off? And it's just, it's exciting and nerve-wracking. So let's do this. Oh, it's not here yet, or is it? Wait, there are 2 ways to check. Let me see, maybe that way it works. No, that's not it. No, it's not here yet. I'll just check back in with you guys once it's here, and then you'll get my live reaction. It's currently 3 p.m. so let's see if it's here yet. The schedule, my roster. The nerves. So let's see. Roster. Ooh, wait. Oh no, that's for this month. I thought that was next month. That's November. Let's see. It's still not here. It's like 3 p.m. Okay, let's see when they posted it for December last year. Here we have it. Okay, last year they posted it at 3:08 p.m. So I guess they still have some time. It's like, it has to be in today until the end of the day. So the roster, like basically what they do is they post it for every single flight attendant, and the ones that are, I think it's in alphabetical order, or maybe it's in seniority order, I don't know. But someone gets it first, and then it will take a few hours until everyone has their schedule. It'll be here until the end of the day for everyone, but I think the latest I've ever gotten my roster was at like probably 5 or 6 p.m. So let's check back in with you guys in a little bit. It's 4:15 p.m. Let's see if my December schedule is here yet. So I talked to a few of my colleagues and they told me that they haven't gotten it yet, or some of them actually told me that they haven't gotten it online yet on the website, but that they were able to see it in our work app on our iPad. So if I can't see it online right here on my laptop, I'm just gonna check that. So let's see. Let's go to home. Okay, let's see. No, it doesn't look like it's here yet. Maybe here, let's see that. Oh, I think that looks like it. Is that my schedule? Guys, I got everything! Okay, so what I'm checking right now, it's not the official schedule, but it shows the schedule. And usually if you don't have like a last minute schedule change, then it's gonna be it, but oh my gosh. Okay, so there's my San Francisco. So just when I requested it. Then there is my Hong Kong with a 72-hour layover. I got that one. And there's my Miami with Christmas Eve off. Guys, how awesome is that? Like, I didn't expect it. I hoped it would be like this, but I thought it might not, and now it is like this. Like, I'm really, oh my gosh, I'm so happy right now. So yeah, only 3 flights in December. I'm gonna be working for 13 days. I'm gonna be off for 18 days. I'm working 80 flying hours, so I have some good trips. Oh my gosh, how did this happen? Like, honestly, I have never had schedule this good, and usually December is horrible for bidding on flights, especially with my seniority. Usually my seniority is good, but in December it's usually the worst. I'm confused. How did that happen? Okay, let me just check it on here on my work iPad if it says the same thing, because I can't believe it. Okay, I need to type in my code because it's like extra security and everything, so I need a couple of codes that we need to type in. Let's see. Oh my gosh, I hope. How can it be true? Like, oh my gosh. So I managed to get Christmas Eve off and New Year's off. Like, Christmas Eve and New Year's. If you're not a flight attendant, you probably don't understand what all of this is about, because you probably don't have that much trouble getting it off. But for me, it is like kind of unimaginable to get both days off. We did it. This crazy year is almost over. I have the last schedule, my last roster for this year. I'm only doing A380 trips in December. It means I don't have any short haul, no 350s, nothing, just A380s, which I like. And okay, this is almost done charging or loading. I have to charge it too because it was at 0%, so it didn't turn on earlier. Yeah, charging it right now, but let's see, almost there. Okay, I'm just checking this once again. Okay, it's still not here on this one. Okay, let's see. December. Okay, what do we have here? Yeah! It's in here as well. It's on my work iPad. Okay, it's here. San Francisco, Hong Kong, long Hong Kong, super long Hong Kong, and Miami. Guys, I'm so happy. This hasn't happened in a while, that I basically got all of my requests on the days that I requested and no extra stuff in my schedule. Okay, that was my video. I hope some of it made sense to you. I was trying to be clear and explain everything, but I hope I didn't use too much flight attendant lingo, and if I did, I do have a video on flight attendant terminology. I can link it in the right hand corner, so if you want to watch that, go ahead and do so. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure that you're subscribed to my channel and click on the little bell icon below, because Vlogmas is about to start. My next video is probably gonna be a Vlogmas video already. So make sure that you follow my channel for that if you haven't done so yet. And also, if you have any more questions for Vlogmas or video ideas, let me know in the comments below, because I'm currently working on a Q&A video. And I have already received many questions from you guys, but in case you have any more or video ideas for Vlogmas in general, let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.